Greetings, watch geeks. If this is your first time here, my name's Gigi, and I love to talk about watches, obviously. The watch I'll be discussing today is one that raised a few eyebrows in the watch community when it was released a few months ago. The big issue was the surprisingly high price tag for a watch with a relatively mundane Sellita-based movement. The watch is the Bell&Ross BR05 Skeleton Nightlum limited edition. The two main questions I'll try to answer today are, is this watch any good, and above all, does it deserve its hefty €6,400 price tag? So, no more chit-chat, let's get cracking and find out. This limited edition version of 500 pieces of the BR05 is part of a lineup of smaller square-cased Bell&Ross models. The case size is just 40mm wide, but being the square that it is, at least on paper, it should wear larger than the figures suggest. In common with the other pieces in the BR05 line, this reference has a 3-piece square stainless steel case with a dead flat sapphire crystal with AR undercoating. All surfaces, including the integrated bracelet, have fine linear brushing, except for the mid-links of the bracelet and the edges of the case and bezel, which are very highly polished and as a consequence very prone to scratching. The main differences with the mainstream offering are the dial, caseback, and the finishing of the movement. As you can see, the dial is a piece of grey smoked sapphire, which allows the wearer to see the skeletonized BR Cal 322 movement, which is derived from the Sellita SW300-1 high-beat automatic movement with a 38-hour power reserve. The movement itself, apart from the wheels, is all blacked out. The arm markers are rounded batons, with a double baton at 12 o'clock. The black hands are of a similar shape you would find on a royal oak, and both the hour markers and hour and minute hands are filled with lume. The second hand is all black with no lume whatsoever, which is pretty disappointing. The screw-down crown has the Bell&Ross logo engraved on it, and it's flanked by two rather long crown guards that are screwed into the case. The bezel is kept in place by 4 screws that are all perfectly aligned on the front of the case, but not on the back. The butterfly clasp also had a great big honking Bell&Ross logo on it. I was really amazed at the attention that was put into the locking mechanism. Instead of the usual springs, here we have 2 really solid custom milled clips. The sides of the bracelet are high polish, and the links and half links are held in by screws. At this price I would expect no less. And now let's have a look at the case back. Here we have a see-through case back with, yet again, the Bell&Ross ampersand logo. They just can't help themselves. Like I said earlier, the screws here do not align with each other. I'm not sure if it's technically not possible to align them, or if this watch was made on a Friday afternoon and the watchmaker at the B&R plant was eager to leave for drinks with his mates. When seen from the side, it's clear that the caseback does bulge out quite a bit, but that being said, the total thickness is only 11mm, so that shouldn't pose a problem. Let me say right up that I've never been much of a Bell&Ross fan. I really loathe their cockpit-style monstrosities. But when I got hold of this watch, I have to admit I was quite smitten with it. It's a solidly built sports watch with excellent finishing. The case itself surprised me the most. It's an interesting mashup of the Nautilus and the Royal Oak. The styling is tasteful, not over the top like many other offerings from the brand. The sapphire dial is nothing new to the market, it's been done before. In this instance, it gives the face of the watch a lot of character. I especially like the floating Bell&Ross text below the 12 o'clock. So, how does this watch wear on the wrist? Let's take a look. The short answer is, it wears surprisingly well for a square 40mm case with an integrated bracelet. It must be some kind of optical illusion given off by the round dial in a square case. I swear I couldn't believe that I had a 40mm square on my 18cm wrist. The end of the case slopes down nicely, and the bracelet really hugs the wrist. The bracelet also has a very sharp taper, which helps with comfort and wearability. Seen from the side, because of the bulging case back, it looks like the case is floating over your wrist. And close up on the wrist, the watch looks positively tiny. What kind of magic is this? Kudos, Bell&Ross. Excellent design. Now, this watch is called Nightlum, so does it have any lume at night? Well, it does. The hour markers and hour and minute hands have an acceptable amount of what looks like green C3 superluminova, What really spoils the light show is the absence of Lume on the second hand. Honestly, for nearly $6.5 Bell&Ross could have put a dollop of Lume in the counterbalance of the second hand. So now it's time for me to shut up and let the pictures do the talking. Now it's time to do some summing up. To answer the first question, is this a good watch? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. The excellent build quality, finish, and in my opinion, fantastic design make this watch stand out from the crowd. They could have splurged a bit and loomed second hand, but I'm willing to close an eye on that issue. The second question is a bit more difficult to answer. Is this watch worth spending nearly €6,500 for? Well, the answer lies in how much value the brand has against the specs. A lot of hate was toward the watch having an off-the-shelf movement as opposed to a manufacturer movement. But to be honest, this in-house versus off-the-shelf argument is harassing me to no end. I mean, the Sellita is a solid, reliable movement, and as many people in the industry know, where a luxury watch is concerned, most of the value is in the workmanship or in other aspects of the product. Well, that being said, as much as I like the watch, the price tag is a really hard sell for Bell&Ross, especially when the list price on the other three-handers in the steel BR05 range is nearly $2,000 less. Honestly, the dial, skeletalized movement, and limited edition of 500 aren't worth the extra outlay in my opinion. I'm sure ADs are going to have to offer some serious discounts to shift these watches out of their inventory. So my friends, that's all from me. As always, many thanks to the Grimoldi brothers at Grimoldi Watches in Milan for being so kind and lending me this watch. Apart from Bell&Ross, they have an extensive inventory of fantastic watches at fantastic prices. So please check out their website at www.grimoldiwatches.com. Or if you're ever in Milan, pop over to their store. You won't be disappointed. Dear watch geeks, if you like what you've seen, please hit that like button and please consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon to be notified when I drop new content. And also, if you like awesome watch photography, don't miss out on my Instagram page at timetotalk_watches. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Gigi, signing off. Take care.